Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're focusing on the US 1-cent coin, a small piece of change with over 200 years of history. From the early large cents to the classic wheat pennies and modern shield designs, the 1-cent coin has seen countless changes and rare additions. Some of these coins are incredibly valuable to collectors. Let's take a closer look at what makes the humble penny a true treasure in your pocket. The 1927 D. Lincoln wheat penny is a copper 1-cent coin minted at the Denver Mint, identifiable by the small d mint mark beneath the date on the obverse. As part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909, this coin features the classic wheat ears reverse design created by Victor D. Brenner. The obverse bears the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the top rim, "Liberty" to the left of the portrait, and the date 1927 to the right, just above the mint mark. In a bad used condition, this coin shows heavy wear across nearly all surfaces. The portrait of Lincoln is likely flat or smoothed in many areas, particularly around the hair, cheek, and jawline. Details in the beard and facial contours are likely faint or fully worn away, making the features less distinguishable. The flat areas of the coin surrounding the design may appear rough, pitted, or discolored due to long-term circulation and environmental exposure. It's common for such a coin to have scratches, nicks, and possibly corrosion spots. The reverse of the coin originally depicted two stylized wheat ears framing the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America. Above these central inscriptions is a pluribus unum. In a heavily worn example like this, the wheat stalks may be almost completely worn down, with only faint outlines remaining. The lettering might be weak or partially illegible, particularly on coins that have seen extensive handling. The rim may be partially merged into the design, and damage or flattening at the edges is common. This coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, consistent with cents minted in that period. Because of the copper composition, older Lincoln cents often darken or develop green or brown patinas when exposed to air and moisture over decades. Badly circulated examples like this one may show uneven toning, stains, or even verdigris, a greenish corrosion common on older copper coins. The 1927 D penny had a total mintage of approximately 27.2 million pieces. While not particularly rare, any coin from the 1920s is considered old and can be of historical interest to collectors. In bad condition, its market value is typically low, often close to its base metal value or a nominal amount above face value. However, it still holds significance as a nearly century-old artifact of American numismatic history. Collectors who acquire coins in poor condition often do so to complete a date-mint set or for educational purposes. A worn 1927 D penny can help illustrate the effects of circulation over time and the changes in U.S. coin design and production. Despite the condition, this coin is still a piece of American history, produced during the Roaring Twenties, a time of economic prosperity and social change in the United States before the onset of the Great Depression. In summary, a 1927 D. Lincoln wheat penny in bad, heavily used condition is a well-worn example of early 20th century American coinage. Though not valuable in monetary terms, it offers insight into the lifespan of circulated coins, the durability of early copper cents, and the legacy of the Lincoln wheat penny series. It may not appeal to those seeking high-grade or visually impressive coins, but it remains a meaningful piece for collectors who appreciate historical context and the continuity of American coin design. Next up we have the 1968 1-cent coin without a mint mark is a Lincoln Memorial cent, struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1968, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, which distinguishes it from coins minted in Denver marked with a D or San Francisco marked with an S. The obverse of the coin features a right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. This same basic portrait has been used since 1909. On this 1968 issue, the inscriptions include "In God We Trust" across The top edge, Liberty to the left of Lincoln's image, and the date 1968 to the right, the coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a reddish-brown appearance when in good condition. A well-preserved 1968 penny shows strong detail in Lincoln's hair, face, and jacket. The lettering and date should be sharp and fully legible. In a good condition coin, minimal wear is present, and the surface maintains a consistent tone, though it might have mellowed slightly over time. The reverse of the coin, introduced in 1959 to replace the wheat ears design, shows the Lincoln Memorial. Above the memorial is the inscription United States of America, and below it is 1 cent. Centered above the steps of the memorial is the motto E pluribus unum. On well-preserved examples, the columns of the memorial are distinct, and tiny details, such as the seated statue of Lincoln inside the monument, can be made out under magnification because of its copper composition. This coin may show signs of minor toning natural color changes due to exposure to air over decades, but in good condition, it would not have heavy scratches, corrosion, or other major blemishes. Coins stored in dry, stable environments tend to retain a more even color and remain relatively unmarred by the elements. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1 billion of these coins in 1968. This large quantity makes the coin quite common, especially in circulated and lower mint state conditions. While not rare, it still represents a key part of U.S. coinage history during the post-silver era. Its copper content also gives it some collector interest, especially since U.S. cents were later changed to copper-plated zinc in 1982. Collectors often keep 1968 cents to complete a year set or to study the slight differences in die varieties that can be found on coins from this period. Occasionally, 1968 Lincoln cents may show minor die errors or doubling, though these are not widespread for Philadelphia minted coins of that year. Nevertheless, even without such varieties, a coin in good condition with clean surfaces and well-struck details is valued for its aesthetic and historical appeal. Overall, the 1968 Lincoln Memorial cent without a mint mark in good condition is a well-preserved example of late 1960s American coinage. Though common in terms of mintage and modest in value, it maintains its place as part of the long-running Lincoln cent series and provides collectors with a tangible piece of mid-20th century U.S. monetary history. Next up we have the 1981 cent coin without a mint mark is a Lincoln Memorial cent produced at the Philadelphia Mint. During this time, the Philadelphia Mint did not place a mint mark on its coins, which distinguishes it from those struck in Denver D or San Francisco S. The obverse features the familiar right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to mark the centennial of Lincoln's birth. This portrait, designed by Victor D. Brenner, had by then become an enduring image on U.S. coinage. On the front of the coin, the inscriptions include "In God We Trust" across the top rim, "Liberty" to Lincoln's left, and the date 1980 to his right. A coin in good circulated condition will show some signs of wear from handling and use in commerce, but the major details on Lincoln's face, hair, and clothing will still be visible, though perhaps slightly softened. The lettering should be sharp and fully legible, and there may be small surface marks or minor discoloration, which are common on circulated copper coins. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that replaced the wheat ears in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Above the memorial, the words United States of America are curved along the top rim. Directly beneath that is the motto E pluribus unum, and at the bottom of the coin, the denomination is stated as 1 cent in coins that have been circulated but remain in good condition. Most of the lines on the memorial building will still be visible, though the finer architectural details may show wear. A keen eye or magnification might still reveal the tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. The 1980 cent was minted with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which was standard for cents prior to the 1980 to switch to copper-plated zinc. Because of its copper content, The coin has a distinctive weight and feel and is slightly heavier than cents minted later. The color of the coin, originally a bright reddish hue, may have darkened to a brown or reddish-brown tone over time depending on storage and exposure to air, moisture, and handling. In terms of production volume, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 7.4 billion 1-cent coins in 1980, making it a very common issue. Despite its high mintage, many of these coins have been lost or heavily worn, so coins that are still in good circulated condition are often kept by collectors who aim to assemble year sets or study small differences in design and die production. While the 1980 cent without a mint mark is not considered rare or highly valuable, it remains a consistent part of numismatic collections. Its age, copper composition, and position within the long-running Lincoln cent series give it modest historical significance. Moreover, collectors who appreciate U.S. coinage from the late 20th century often include this coin in their sets, both for its durability and as an example of the design elements of the period. Coins from this year may also be inspected for varieties or minting anomalies, although such errors are not widespread for 1980 Philadelphia cents. Still, double dies, die cracks, and off-center strikes occasionally appear and are sought by error collectors. In summary, the 1981 cent coin without a mint mark, in good circulated condition, is a solid example of a commonly used U.S. coin that retains historical interest and collecting value due to its copper content, clean design, and connection to the enduring Lincoln series. Its moderate wear and continued legibility make it a useful and recognizable piece of American currency history. Next up we have the 1967 1-cent coin without a mint mark is a Lincoln Memorial cent minted by the Philadelphia Mint. During this era, Philadelphia did not place a mint mark on its coins, so its absence is typical and does not indicate an error. The obverse features the familiar right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner, a design that has been in use since 1909. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto "In God We Trust," while liberty is inscribed to the left and a date 1967 appears to the right. Being in circulated condition, this coin likely shows clear signs of wear. The high points of Lincoln's face and hair may be flattened or smoothed from years of use. Minor surface scratches, discoloration, or loss of original mint luster are common in circulated coins of this age. Despite the wear, the major features, Lincoln's portrait and the lettering, remain clearly visible. The reverse of the coin displays the Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat-ears in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The memorial design includes inscriptions reading United States of America across the top, the motto E pluribus unum just below that, and 1 cent at the bottom. Even in circulated condition, the general outline and columns of the memorial are typically identifiable, although finer details, such as the statue of Lincoln inside the structure, may be faint or worn smooth. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a standard composition for Lincoln cents until 1982. Its rich reddish-brown tone can shift to a deeper brown over time due to exposure and oxidation. In circulated condition, it may also show signs of environmental impact, such as spotting, dark patches, or signs of grime buildup from long-term handling. In 1967, coinage production was affected by the U.S. Mint's transition out of the coin shortage of the early 1960s. To streamline production and discourage hoarding, the Mint temporarily removed mint marks from all coins from 1965 to 1967. Therefore, no 1967 cents from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco bear a mint mark. This policy was meant to reduce public attention to collecting coins by mint origin, allowing more coins to stay in circulation. More than 3 billion Lincoln cents were produced in 1967, making it one of the highest minted years for this denomination. As a result, the coin is common and easily found in circulated condition. Despite its availability, Many collectors hold on to 1967 cents as part of complete Lincoln cent date sets or for their historical significance related to minting policies of the time, though the coin itself is not rare or particularly valuable. Even in uncirculated condition, it remains a staple in coin collections that focus on 20th century U.S. coinage. Collectors often look for well-preserved examples or possible die varieties, though few major errors are commonly associated with this year. Overall, the 1967 1-cent coin without a mint mark in circulated condition is a representative artifact of the era's coin production. While its condition limits its market value, it maintains historical and educational interest, particularly in illustrating a unique time when mint marks were deliberately excluded as part of broader economic policy efforts. The coin's composition, iconic imagery, and role in everyday commerce make it a reliable example of mid-century American currency. Next up we have the 1971 1-cent coin without a mint mark is a Lincoln Memorial cent struck by the Philadelphia Mint. During this time, the absence of a mint mark was standard for coins minted in Philadelphia. The obverse of the coin features the well-known right-facing portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor D. Brenner in 1909. This design remained unchanged in its core features for decades, serving as a familiar symbol of American coinage. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto "In God We Trust," with the word liberty positioned to the left of the portrait and the date 1971 on the right. The overall visual balance of the design remains consistent with earlier issues, reflecting a minimalist yet enduring representation of Lincoln's legacy. On coins in good condition, like this example, most of the original design elements are intact, though slight wear might be noticeable on high points, such as Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and hair. The reversed side of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The central image shows the stately structure in fine detail, including the columns and, faintly, the statue of Lincoln visible between them. Above the image is the inscription "United States of America," with the Latin motto "E pluribus unum" below it, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. In good condition, the architectural elements of the memorial remain clear and distinguishable, though minor smoothing or discoloration may appear due to circulation. The coin is composed primarily of copper to 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that continued until 1982, when the mint switched to a predominantly zinc-based planchet with a copper plating. The rich, reddish-brown hue of copper coins, like this one, often deepens over time, developing a darker tone, especially if the coin has been exposed to air or handled frequently. Coins in good condition, like this 1971 cent, typically show moderate wear but retain legible inscriptions and visible design elements. There may be small nicks or scratches from use, and the original mint luster is usually diminished. However, there are no major damages, and both sides of the coin remain visually appealing for general collection purposes. In terms of mintage, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.9 billion Lincoln cents in 1971, making this one of the more common dates within the series. Because of the large mintage and the absence of significant errors or rare varieties for this year, most 1971 cents carry minimal value above face unless in high uncirculated grades or featuring special characteristics like a striking anomaly. The 1971 1-cent piece represents a typical and consistent output from the U.S. Mint in the early 1970s, a period when coin production was stable and the mint was focused on meeting the demands of everyday commerce. Although this particular coin may not be rare or especially valuable in the numismatic market, it still offers insight into the consistency of coinage design and production practices in the United States. Collectors who appreciate the Lincoln cent series often include coins like this as part of a complete date collection. While circulated examples are easy to obtain, finding one in good condition, with most details preserved and free from major blemishes, adds value to a personal collection. especially for those interested in assembling a full set by year and mint location. Overall, this 1971 1-cent coin without a mint mark in good condition is a solid example of mid-20th century U.S. coinage. It reflects the durability and widespread circulation of the Lincoln cent, a coin that has been a constant presence in American pockets, cash registers, and coin jars for over a century. Though simple and familiar, coins like this serve as tangible reminders of history, daily life, and economic activity throughout the decades.